Have you ever met a woman in her 70s who somehow feels younger than people 20 years behind her? Not younger in the mirror, younger in something harder to name, in the way she laughs, in the way she walks into a room, in the way her eyes still light up at something small, a song on the radio, a bird at the feeder, a letter in the mailbox. You've met her. Maybe she's your neighbor, maybe she's your sister or your mother, or if you let yourself believe it for a moment, maybe she's you on the days when you feel most like yourself. Today isn't about looking younger. There's no shortage of people who will sell you that. Today is about something quieter, and honestly, something better. The habits that help a woman stay young in the ways that actually matter. Stay with me. I think you'll recognize more of this than you expect. A different kind of youth. We've been taught to fear the years the way we'd fear a storm rolling in. Told to brace for it. Told that aging is something that happens to you. Something to be fought off with creams and procedures and a kind of quiet panic every time you catch your reflection in a shop window. But you've probably noticed something. If you've paid attention to the women who seem to glow a little even now. The ones who seem lit from somewhere inside. They rarely have the most expensive skincare drawer. They rarely talk about anti-aging at all. They just live differently. Their habits protect their bodies, yes. But more than that, their habits protect their minds, their hearts, their capacity for joy. And that protection shows up on the outside too, though it was never really the point. So let's talk about 6 of those habits. Simple ones. The kind you could start today, before your tea gets cold. Habit 1, you let your morning begin slowly. Think about the last time you woke up already behind, the alarm, the rush, the mental list before your feet even hit the floor. You know that feeling? It puts a kind of static in your chest before the day has even asked anything of you. Now think of the opposite. A morning where nothing is chasing you yet. The women who seem to carry a kind of ease into their 60s and 70s and beyond, they protect those first few minutes like something precious. They don't reach for the phone first thing. They let the room be quiet. Maybe they sit with the curtains open and just watch the light change, the way it moves across the wall a little differently every single day, if you actually look. There's nothing complicated about this. It isn't a routine with 7 steps and a journal and an app that tracks it. It's simply this. You decide, before anything else decides for you, that the first few minutes of your day belong to you. Not to your inbox, not to the news, not to worry. A slow morning doesn't mean a lazy one. It means an unhurried one. And there's a difference between resting and rushing that your whole nervous system can feel, even if you've never once thought about it in those words. If you've ever noticed that the days you start calmly tend to unfold more gently, that's not a coincidence. That's cause and effect, quietly at work. Habit 2, you keep your body moving, not working out. Here's something worth saying plainly. This isn't going to turn into a lecture about the gym, because the women who move well into their later years usually aren't the ones with a treadmill and a strict routine. They're the ones who garden on a Saturday morning and don't notice an hour has passed. The ones who dance around the kitchen to a song that takes them back 30 years with nobody watching and nobody needing to be. The ones who get down on the floor to play with a grandchild and get back up instead of groaning. Movement for them isn't a chore on a checklist. It's just what a full life looks like from the outside. A walk after dinner, pulling weeds until your knees complain a little, stretching in the morning sun like a cat that's found the warmest spot on the rug. None of it needs a gym membership. None of it needs to hurt to count. Your body was never meant to sit still for decades and then suddenly be asked to perform. It was meant to move a little, often in ways that also happen to bring you joy. That's the secret hiding in plain sight. The habit and the happiness are often the same thing. Habit 3, you eat to nourish yourself, not to punish yourself. So many of us spent decades at war with our plates, counting, restricting, feeling guilty over a slice of cake at a birthday party that was supposed to be joyful. But somewhere along the way, the women who seem most at peace with themselves quietly put down that war. They started eating like they respected their bodies instead of resented them. That might look like a plate with more color on it, not because a chart told them to, but because it simply feels good to eat something vibrant. It might look like a tall glass of water first thing, not out of obligation, but because they've learned to notice what their body is actually asking for. It might look like enjoying the slice of cake, fully, without the guilt that used to come free with every bite. This isn't about a diet. Diets have an ending, and usually a disappointing one. This is about something that lasts, a relationship with food built on kindness instead of control. When you stop punishing yourself at every meal, something interesting happens. Food stops being the enemy, and eating well stops feeling like deprivation. It starts feeling like care, and your body, in its own quiet way, notices the difference. If these conversations feel like they're speaking straight to something in you, like a reminder that your best years might still be ahead, not behind, I'd love for you to subscribe to her golden chapter. Every week, we sit down together, like old friends, and talk about healthy aging, confidence, peace, and finding real joy after 60. I'd be glad to have you here with us. Habit 4. You protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. There's a particular kind of freedom that seems to arrive for some women right around this stage of life. It's the freedom of no longer needing to say yes to everything. You've spent years, maybe decades, saying yes to keep the peace. Yes to obligations that drained you. Yes to relationships that took more than they gave. Yes to drama that was never really yours to carry in the first place. But the women who seem to age with a kind of grace and ease that other people notice without quite knowing why, they've learned to say no. Gently, sometimes, firmly when it's needed, but they say it, and they don't apologize 3 times over for saying it. They protect quiet moments the way you'd protect something breakable. A cup of tea on the porch with no phone in hand. An afternoon with no plans at all. A friendship that gives back as much as it takes. Peace isn't something that happens to you when circumstances finally line up. It's something you build, on purpose, out of the choices you make about where your energy goes. And here's what's worth knowing. Peace doesn't just settle your mind. It softens your whole face. You can see it in a person before they've said a single word. Calm has a look at it. Habit 5. You keep learning, because curiosity doesn't retire. Think about the most alive people you know, at any age. Chances are, they're curious people. They ask questions. They pick up new hobbies without worrying about being bad at them at first. They read things that challenge them. They're not afraid to be a beginner again. That's not an accident either. Some of the most vibrant women in their 60s, 70s, and beyond are the ones still learning something. Maybe it's a new recipe that intimidated them for years. Maybe it's finally figuring out how video calls work so they can see their grandchildren's faces from 3 states away. Maybe it's a language they always meant to learn, or a craft they set aside decades ago and are only now picking back up. Curiosity keeps something alive in a person that's hard to fake and impossible to buy. It's the opposite of the world shrinking. It's the world staying just as wide and interesting as it always was. Maybe even wider, because now there's time to actually explore it. You don't have to master anything, you just have to stay willing to learn it. Habit 6. You choose joy on purpose every single day. Not constant happiness, nobody has that, at any age, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. Small joys, that's what we're talking about. A song that makes you close your eyes for a second. A phone call with someone who makes you laugh until it hurts. A sunset you actually stop and watch instead of just walking past. Fresh flowers on the table for no reason at all, except that they make you happy. The women who seem to carry light with them, even through hard seasons, tend to have this in common. They don't wait for joy to arrive. They practice it, they notice it, they make a little room for it, even on the ordinary days, especially on the ordinary days. Joy that's only saved for big occasions is joy that mostly stays locked away. But joy that's practiced daily, in small, unremarkable moments, that becomes something closer to a way of living. Bringing it all together. 6 habits. A slow morning. A body kept in motion. Food eaten with kindness instead of guilt. Peace protected on purpose. Curiosity kept alive. Joy practiced daily, in small doses, without waiting for permission. But underneath all 6, there's something quieter still. The women who seem youngest after 60 aren't actually trying to stay young at all. That was never really the goal for them. What they're protecting are the parts of themselves that never needed to grow old in the first place. Their curiosity, their kindness, their peace, their gratitude, their hope. None of those things came with an expiration date. They only fade if we let the noise of the world convince us to put them down. Where this leaves you. Picture an ordinary evening. Not a special one, just an evening like any other. The dishes are done, the house has gone quiet, and you step outside for a few minutes because the air feels good against your skin. You notice the sky is doing something beautiful, the way it sometimes does without any warning at all. And for a moment, you're not thinking about your age or your to-do list or anything you haven't finished yet. You're just there, fully there, feeling the breeze, watching the color change, letting the day settle around you like a blanket. That's not a moment reserved for the young. That's a moment available to you, tonight, if you let it be. Youth was never really measured by the number of birthdays behind you. It's measured by how open your heart still is to the life in front of you. And maybe that's the real secret hiding inside all 6 of these habits. Not one of them promises to turn back the clock. What they promise is something better. A way of moving through the years that feels less like a countdown and more like an unfolding. I'd love to know, which of these 6 habits do you already practice without realizing it? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Until next time, keep embracing your golden chapter.